Hello guys, and welcome to the new episode. I would like to remind you that if you have any suggestions regarding the quality or improvements in the video, please let me know in the comments, and if you don't like the playback speed, you can adjust it from the video settings. The villain realized that his dad went through his PC and followed him. He starts shouting on his father, and said his father was embarrassing him in front of Zoe, and he has ruined everything. By looking at him, Daniel saw himself and realized his mistakes. The villain tells them how everyone rejected him, disrespected him, discriminated against him and judged him by his looks. Vasco replies that he doesn't understand all this, but a man should take responsibility for his actions, and he should not blame others. Vasco asked him has he ever tried to improve and change his situation. Daniel was amazed watching this. The antagonist screams at Vasco. He said Vasco has no idea how the people at the bottom are treated, and no matter how hard he tried, he won't be able to change anything, and it's a waste of time. Vasco thought for a bit, and replied that he was able to change his situation. Vasco's words shook Daniel to the core. The cops arrived at the situation and caught the villain red-handed. His father begged for forgiveness, but it was useless. Vasco asks Daniel is he okay and tells him that he did a great job protecting Zoe. Zoe grabs Daniel and bursts into tears. She calls him Piggy and asks whether he is injured. She was concerned. Meanwhile at the convenience store, Daniel placed a notice which says, "I went to the restroom." Daniel remembers it, and immediately returns back to the store. Daniel was thinking about what Vasco said last night about self-improvement. Zoe comes and greets Daniel. She had to quit streaming and gave all the money to Gangnam landlord's father. She asks the tall Daniel about his chubby friend and immediately she has second thoughts, and thinks why is she asking this from Daniel. Yui comes with her bruised face and everyone is wondering what happened. She approaches Daniel, who is confused and doesn't know what he should say. Zach thinks she's still flirting, but the plot twist happens, and she gives a handkerchief to Zach. Zach is shocked and surprised at the same time. Yui thanks him for what he did for her yesterday and tells him that she broke up with Young. Zach panicked, because Mira was watching them, and tries to remind Yui that she has to keep all this a secret. Yui was returning from school and was thinking about Zach. She realizes that Zach likes Mira and she has no chance with him. Someone calls out her name. Gunn was there to discuss a business opportunity, and he tells her that she doesn't need to be scared. Duke was getting more and more views and his haters started to like him. I hope this happens to me as well. Zach and Mira were returning from school, and Zach tries to convince her that there is nothing going on between him and Yui. Mira gives him a cold reply, and said why does he even bothers to give an explanation, there's nothing between her and Zach. Young, who was still wearing those track pants, came and says that he has to wait a lot for Zach. Mira realized that Zach had fought again and decides to leave. Young brought his boys with him to beat Zach. They all started mocking Zach but the bald one went too far, and asked Zach, why did he send the girl, since he didn't want it to be embarrassed in front of her. All of them started laughing at Zach. They asked Zach to show his face, which he does, and they were frightened after seeing that. They realized that they made a mistake, but it was too late. Zach said that because of them Mira left, and now he doesn't need to hold back. He launched a flurry of punches, and knocked out every single one of them. The next day, at school Zach asks Namsu to get limited edition Jordans, even though he was asking politely. Namsu's perspective was different. He thought Zach was threatening and commanding him to get the shoes, or else he'll beat the shit out of him. Namsu was searching for the shoes but couldn't find them, since all of them carried a big premium, because DG wore them. He had no options but to beg the sellers. One after the other he got many rejections. Some of them directly said no, some of them told him to get lost, but one of them was ready to sell them for $300. He decides that he should meet in person and do the deal. Last time he bought a camera and they gave him a brick, and it was Zach's money so he can't lose it. The seller wanted to talk in Messenger, instead of texting. Namsu wonders whether he was trying to save the texting fee. He checks out the seller's profile and realized it was a cute girl. He gets too excited. They talked. Initially she was not ready to meet up, but later she agreed.